Hey, we're live on the Games Tavern Happy Hour, everybody. Good to see everybody. Excited to be here. Welcome to the Games Tavern Happy Hour, where a bunch of us nerds get together and talk about tabletop game news, reviews, and interviews with those in the tabletop gaming space. So glad to have you join us for the pack show tonight. It looks like chat is on fire. I'm checking the chat here on the side, and you guys are all there, and it's good to see every one of you, and I love you all. We have no interview tonight, but we have a ton of extra stuff going on in terms of some serious news. So be prepared to watch and join in that conversation. We also have a cool new feature today. If you check down below the screen, there is a Ask a Question feature, and the Ask a Question feature allows you to punch your question and have it brought up ahead of everyone else. It's really cool. It's the Q&A that allows you to do it. You can still do things the old-fashioned way by punching in question in all caps. This Q&A allows you to do it with a much higher level of visibility for us. It helps us out too. So let's see here. I'm joined today by my awesome co-host, Jeff. Do you want to say hello, Jeff?
I almost thought you forgot me.
Well, you were on vacation. How was that?
Yeah, it was good. No,
Yeah.
I took the entire week off, not just from this show, but from everything but the Velkin Weave.
Mm-hmm.
But all my other regularly scheduled gaming, I basically took it off and spent that time. My mother decided to travel from the Midwest out here to the East Coast, and so we
Hang
had
out.
a good old time hiking around everywhere out in the wilderness and nature. It was good.
It's always good to spend time with family when you can. So let's see here. If this is your first time watching the Games Tavern Happy Hour, welcome. Don't forget to follow the Games Tavern on Twitch. It's free and supports all of us here at the Games Tavern. If you have Amazon Prime, you get a free Prime gaming subscription, which you can use to sub to this channel and support all the great shows that are going on and the amazing cast and crew. And we got a ton more new content coming out this year, so it's going to be an exciting year, I think, for everybody. And remember, you can catch us live on Twitch, but all shows are uploaded to YouTube later on, and so you can catch up with all the fun stuff on YouTube, typically 48 hours later. So, and then also interviews are then also separately done in an interviews only playlist, so you can see specifically the interviews with the various people we're talking to today. So, or as we go. All right, let's start off with a quick mention of our sponsor. A colossal thank you to Overhead Games for sponsoring tonight's show. You can check them out at overheadgames.com. They're amazing. We love them. They have supported us, and not only that, they are also helping us with an amazing giveaway, which we are starting right now. So you'll see some stuff in the chat right there about how to enter. Some great they create this cool epic avatar character generator. We've used it for some stuff in the background in the shows to show both good guys and bad guys. We've done some stuff where we've posted on social media sharing some of the cool stuff we've made lately. If you get a chance, definitely try to enter to win, but also just definitely try to check them out. I think that they'd appreciate it, and I think you'd really like what the kinds of things that they can do are. So tonight we're giving away the basic set with 3 upgrades built in, 3 fantasy upgrades. So it's pretty cool when you can get that. Did you want to tell them how to enter?
So tonight for our giveaway from our great sponsor at Overhead Games, the raffle for the package will begin shortly, and we continue to take your entries until the end of the stream when we pick a winner. How you enter is you type exclamation point. That's what that symbol is. Epic. That will get you into get you a ticket, and then the bot processor will select. Of course, cast and crew of the Games Tavern are not eligible, so you don't have to worry about us stealing or diluting the pool. So get in there, go ahead and put in those tickets so that you have your chance of getting some free stuff. Free stuff's always good.
So with you doing no games except for the Falcon Weave, do you want to mention something that may be important that did happen on the Falcon Weave?
Ooh.
What happened to Renyon?
Wow. Go right for the dagger.
Yeah,
huh?
yeah.
So yeah, Rinyan died. Which I'm sure is something that you tend not to see unless the player is wanting to kill him off. I was not planning on killing him off. It just I am very much a heart of the dice type of person, and if the dice say kill him off, kill him off. I only had a 2 in 6 chance of him dying permanently, and I rolled a 1 on out of a D6. So
I just couldn't believe that you left it to the dice, but you kind of worked it in really beautifully. And not only that, but because I don't know that you were really expecting him to die.
No, I wasn't expecting to randomly get hit by a freaking. I was like, oh, I just killed a dragon. Cool. So what's that? Arrow.
Yeah, the arrow of Rinyan slaying, as it were. From there, you were kind of like, at that point you were dead. People are like dumbfounded, including the cast. They're like, what do we do now? And in the background, you're furiously trying to make a new character as quickly as possible and make it work.
Yeah.
And a lot of us were asking, like, did you already have this pre-planned with the Dungeon Master in advance? And
no,
you didn't.
Absolutely not. Absolutely not. There was always the chance, right? There's the chance that something weird goes wrong. It's like in the back of my mind, but I'm not really thinking about it, right? Because I'm in the front of my mind, I'm thinking, who kills off a character on their stream show? Like, I don't think that tends to happen very much. So yeah, no, it was outside of people wanting the character. They're like, he's reached his story's end. And, no, Rinja still had story left. There was still more.
Yeah. And for me particularly, I was dumbfounded because I was the guy who was there when Rinyan was level 1. I was DMing for you.
Yep.
And to see Rinyan go, it kind of hurts me personally. I mean, deeply, I feel personally wounded.
You?
Yeah. I mean, his cloak was legendary. It was by
yes.
Solomon, Solomon's Needle.
Yeah.
And all the stuff that we had made up years before.
I wonder where that cloak has ended up.
Oh, yeah. I mean, it has pockets. It has pockets. It was pretty cool.
I think his pants were Solomon's Needle.
Yeah, his trousers were Solomon's Needle's pants as well, out of Neverwinter. Which a hell of a tailor, by the way. If you're ever in Neverwinter, Solomon's Needle, check them out. You'll be very happy.
Is that something that you created, or is that actually canon?
I made that up. I completely made that up on the fly.
Okay.
I completely did that just to add some flavor.
I like it. No,
you've seen me do before. You've seen me do it.
No, it's amazing.
Mm-hmm.
It's great.
Yeah.
I'm good to see. And you're going to be back in the seat soon, yeah?
Yeah. That's just a few more short weeks. If everything works out okay, we'll be rocking and rolling. So we're in pre-production with the new setup coming in shortly. I've got a lot of stuff to get moving real fast to make this work. But
we're gonna do those crossovers again, like we had planned.
Well, we'll see. Crossover episodes are the coolest because that's what makes comic books awesome. So why not make TTRPGs awesome? So we'll see. We'll take it in stride. First, let's just get it up and running, and then we'll see if we'll be doing some crossovers here because we got a bunch of cool stuff coming up in here as well. And some other changes coming up that you guys will find about in the weeks to come. So, well, I think we've had a great time talking about what's going on the Velkin Weave. And this past week, we had Dark Elf Girl on That Minis Paint Show, and she was amazing as a co-host on, as the guest co-host on That Minis Paint Show. And then...
what did you paint this week?
I painted a whole bunch of zombies. I did 14 of the big boy zombies. I think I got one of them over here.
Big boy zombies.
Yeah.
What's a big boy?
These right here.
Oh yeah, I know that model.
I'll get it to zoom in here. Is it looking sharp yet? There we go.
Yeah, there you go.
There you go.
Oh yes.
So I did about 14 of those bad boys, and
they remind me of the Drowned from Malifaux.
Yeah, I mean, they're drowning in their own necrotic fluids, I'm sure, but I mean, they're just big boys, and so we got those knocked out. I mean, those guys are about even bigger than Renyan sized, I think.
Oh yeah, no, we fought them out in the.
Oh, you remember that?
Yeah, of course I do.
Yeah, but
I never forget a foe.
And then, but we got all that done, and then I think we didn't have an RPG short shot this past weekend, but we got some more coming up here for April. It looks like we got to do Blades in the Dark. We were unable to get the production of Blades in the Dark finished up where we would be happy with it, but I think that may pop up here shortly.
Okay.
So Blades in the Dark is coming. Please join us for Blades in the Dark.
Where is the Blades in the Dark going to be set?
In Blades in the Dark, like in Duskwall, like the actual Blades in the Dark setting with all the goodies and stuff like that. We have spared no detail on this. So we're
I was like, don't make me call you Hammond.
All right. Well, hey, with that, guys, let's transition to the news and figure out what's coming up next year. So here we go. What do we got here? Yeah, all right.
Shuffle papers.
Shuffle some papers here. Yeah, okay, hang on. Let me shuffle. All right, so let's start off with what's coming up first here is Paizo's Combat Tracker app. This was kind of a surprise find. We held off on doing this a week or two ago.
Yeah.
Because we had some other stuff that kind of took a higher priority, and this wasn't going anywhere anytime soon. But we wanted to show people this Combat Tracker app. So earlier this month, Digital Dragon Studies, in conjunction with Paizo, released a new Combat Tracker app for Pathfinder 2nd Edition. The app was created so that users from across the room, or more importantly, across the world, can log in together, see combat order, and hear the alert when the combat advances. This allows everybody to play remotely in a way that we couldn't before. And it's a really awesome way to kind of watch that combat tracking in a way I haven't seen done anywhere else. It can also be used solo by manually entering players in the Game Master control panel. It is available for both Android and Apple users and is cross-platform. So if you're on Apple or Android, it will track that combat together, even if you're on two different platforms. So very, very effective that way. Reviews indicate it's still fairly bare bones, mostly just focused on initiative and basic combat character tracking. I think that even that capability is a very much needed capability for remote play for Pathfinder. And I think that they have nowhere to go but up with an already usable functional app that adds value.
Yep.
It's a good thing. Go ahead.
I think the time that we didn't jump on this right away because it's allowed us to actually see some of the feedback rolling back in. And it's also showing that the developers themselves are communicative and desiring to improve upon it. So it does look like I don't want to quite put out that they're aiming to be a D&D Beyond for Pathfinder, but I think if Paizo gives them that option, they will try to go in that direction.
Yeah, and there doesn't appear to be any memory on this one, which is interesting. Correct. So basically, once you close it out, it dumps everything. It doesn't hang on to it. So it's functional, but not. It's even not, it's not
also
persistent.
It's also encounter to encounter, right? So it's so yeah, it's very much in the moment, if you will. And
they are still working on improving it. So like I said, nowhere to go but up on this one. Has anyone in chat used this yet? I would be keen to know. That would be awesome to hear about.
It is the new hotness. It is been out for not even a month yet.
Absolutely. So if you get a chance and you are using this, let us know in chat and or also tell us about it on Discord when you get a chance, because we'd love to hear about this on Discord. Let's see here. Going on to the next cool thing that we got going on here. This was something you and I were talking about in the background. Like, when did they do all these? Well, these are new. The spring paint night kits, and maybe we should do this on for community night sometime or something like that. That would be pretty cool, don't you think?
Yeah.
So there is the red slod paint night, because it's pretty easy to paint red slods when you paint them red. And
you say that, and yet there's like 12 colors that they listed for the paints of the red slod.
Oh yeah, you got to layer these up to really make them pop. And it kind of reminds me of the Froghemoth that was just painted by Matt. He posted in our Discord under the miniatures section. But so more importantly, these two miniatures, the red slod and the dire troll. The dire troll is going to be a nice miniature because it's about time we got a dire troll miniature because they're ginormous. and they've got extra arms and heads and stuff. So for April, May is the Red Slod, and for May, June is the Dire Troll. So these kits include a miniature, some premium Vallejo paints, a set of brushes, a water pot, and a blister pack that doubles as a palette should you need it. Everything you need for your first painting experience or just for a fun social painting experience with your friends. They're supposed to be able to run these in store events. So if you're comfortable with your store and the seating is safe, feel free to go back to that. Contact them to see if they're participating in the paint night event, secure your box and get it going. So it's going to be amazing to get those in. I think it'd be fun to do this. I think it would be, and then they've got a step-by-step paint tutorial for each of these, so you can learn to paint.
Done by Dynamite of Imagination, so some high quality content there as well. I think, yeah, totally. And it's an easy way to get back into the game table, to get back into the game store, and to show support for that game store, because this is painting. You can be 6 feet apart from someone else and be painting and still have that community experience. And yeah, the Dire Troll, I was looking at the model. It's got these little faces on its chest and stomach area that are poking out, which really makes it a very interesting model. It is. I'd
love to hear from everybody which one they would prefer to do, the Slod or the Dire Troll. Which one do you guys think is most interesting? Please give us a heads up in chat. I'd love to hear that. I think there's a lot to be said. I'm going to put my vote in there.
So I'm not much of a painter, so I'm going to go with the Slod because it's probably easier.
Oh, really?
The Dire Troll has a little bit more extra details, where the Slod looks to be a bit more straightforward.
Definitely. Oh, Geeky Simstress wants to do the Dire Troll for sure. I think that's going to be a tough one to beat there. The Slod is also very large for a creature, so it's going to be a spooky one to do. So, and anyone up? Never Ending Codex, good to see you. You may not like it, but this is what peak performance looks like. Codex, you're the best. All right, so what do we got next here? We got the weird stuff coming up here. You want to talk about this one?
Of course, I love talking about weird. It's still one of my favorite gaming companies. So this is the Easter Extravaganza event of 2021. So Weird loves making alternative models for Malifaux. And for those that don't know, that is, they take models and create new models that can straight up one-for-one replace an original model in Malifaux. So this time, and available during Weird's annual Easter Extravaganza event, starting on April 1st, so Thursday, and ending on the 9th, so going for a solid 9 days there. Limited and alternative models will be listed on their web store. There's a comprehensive list of everything that will be available. You just have to go to the link provided, and there's links on there. This year, the new items are shown up on the screen. We have the alt for the Pigapult, the Eggapult, where instead of a pig, it is a daredevil bunny in a slingshot. Yes, I love Weird so much.
It's a crazed bunny and a daredeviled egg, I think they listed.
Yeah, and the second is a daredeviled egg, which is replacing the bomb-filled stuffed piglets. So these are both alts that would go in your goblin army, because the Pigapult and the stuffed piglet are both part of the goblin faction. But this one is an egg with some dynamite attached to the back of it, with its bird feet sticking out. And then you can see the bird eyes through the crack in the shell. And then they put the little detail on the bunny. It's got some aviator goggles on as it's about to take off and fly through the air. So as typical with these normal alternate models from Weird, you can either buy them separately. I think they're like $35 for both of them. Or if you spend $100 before tax and shipping, these will be one order of each will be included in your order for free, which is always a nice thing. And then that's the $100, and then usually you see something at like the 150 or the 200. Well, this one is going to be at 200. This one's going to be at 200, and it's those 8 models of the larger than life puppets. An entire sprue will be included in your order for free if you purchase $200 worth of stuff. So if you already have an army that you're like looking at and you want to go get and you want to get everything, you can get all of these extra models for free. And these models are meant to be part of the Weird Puppet Wars game. These are the models from that game. However, they've been upsized, larger than life, into nearly full-size Malifaux models. If you look in the bottom right-hand corner of the screen, you'll see a full-sized man in Malifaux next to one of these puppets. So you can see these are very large. 8 of them, great deal. If you're already going to spend $200, getting free stuff is never a bad time to do it.
And it's Malifaux, so the puppets have got the creepy dialed up to 11.
Yeah, and you can basically, so like that middle one there is Lady Justice. So if you want to use that instead of Lady Justice, you can, because that's, this isn't Games Workshop where you have to use the exact model. And then for 25, if you spend $25, you get the puppet coloring book that's listed up there in the top right-hand corner. One last thing, the Eggapult and the Daredevil Egg. I was really surprised, and I actually read it like 3 times. They're actually going to be in metal, cast metal, not plastic.
Oh, really?
That's really... Malifaux hasn't done metal that I'm aware of. Maybe in specials. I haven't seen them do metal since first edition.
Well, if the release is wide enough or not wide enough, metal may be the better economic choice in this particular instance. So.
It makes me think that maybe these aren't new models, and maybe they're leftovers from a event that they did back in the day that they never actually pulled the trigger on. Maybe. I can be conspiracy theory, right?
You sure can. All right. So right after that, though, there's more from Weird.
Yep. Right into the next.
Would you like to play test a game?
So usually we would stick this down in the board game area because this is a board game related event. Weird is asking for playtesters, and the last line, if you read the Extravaganza article, may drop a hint at it could be, maybe a puppet themed game. They say that there's a whole lot of puppets talk in that article, which could be what this is, but it's only a guess. It could be anything. The art, these 2 pieces of art are part of the article. It could be a whole bunch of things, but Weird has put out this request for playtesters for this undisclosed game. It's already got several months of building done. Some playtesting has already been completed. This looks, maybe that was the alpha. You would call this the beta. They're opening up the circuit a little bit more to get more feedback. They're asking if you like fully cooperative games. So this is going to be for 1 to 4 players, fully cooperative. It's going to be challenging and strategic, theme heavy, and story driven. Outside of the low number of players, which I understand most of Weird's games are all low player numbers, which makes my inner heart hurt a little bit. I love the rest of that. Theme heavy, story driven, always great from Weird. They do some amazing story.
You think you're releasing it's definitely a board game?
Yeah.
So you think it's more in the Euro style with miniatures involved too, or what are you thinking it's going to be? What's your guess?
Fully cooperative, challenging strategy. They're releasing in June is the new racing game, the Bayou Bash. So that's coming out already, but it's not cooperative. That's competitive. So I really don't know. Like I said, if it's having to do with the puppets. Maybe it's some type of like survival game where they're trying to, or maybe it's going to be tied to the Malifaux world. That's the other thing. We don't know what setting this is going to be in because they have a couple different settings now. You have Malifaux. You've got the other side, which is Earth as we know it, or as they know it, which is different from our Earth. It's an alternative Earth. So playtesting for this game is going to be on Tabletop Simulator. So I love that idea, using Tabletop Simulator for playtesting your games. You don't have to worry about creating, draft materials to send out to playtesters. You can just have everyone log in.
How many of you guys in chat are on Tabletop Simulator? I'd be keen to and interested in hearing that as well.
If you're not on Tabletop Simulator, you should get it. It's like $20 on Steam. Sometimes you'll see it drop down to $10 on Steam during the sales. You got so much content because everything on it is free. And it's got it's got so many board games. People have automated a lot of the board games. They have put tabletops. You can play Warhammer. You can play Battletech. You can play Malifaux. You can play basically any tabletop game in Tabletop Simulator. And like I said, some people have put in a lot of effort at automating. Automating. Yes, that's the word.
Man, all these big words are tripping you up today. That vacation must have been awesome.
They always trip me up. It's fine. But so if you are interested in playtesting Weird's latest game, there is a link in the article that was sent where you'll need to fill out the NDA, of course, and all of your important details. One last thing, to sweeten the deal, they have stated that playtesters will, first of all, receive credit in the rulebook, always appreciated. Web store credit if you complete a certain number of game reports, basically free stuff. And if you play through the whole campaign, which that phrasing right there, along with theme heavy and story driven, really makes it interesting at what this could be. You're going to receive a copy of the game when it's released. A free copy for playing games. Like, come on. That's awesome.
Yeah, this is some pretty nice perks there, I think. Moving past that, we've got the revised Vanguard rulebook and solo play scenarios. Now you were actually the finder of this one, Jeff, but I think the discussion is it's not really a 2.0. It's a
correct.
It's a 1.1 with the errata added, right?
Yeah. So basically, Kings of War is a massive army game, right? Vanguard is the skirmish version rules that they created for where you build a war band. They're up to 12 factions now. It's been out since 2018. And so all these new factions, all these new war bands, all the rules errata and everything has just been piling up higher and higher. So they decided to pull the trigger, do a revised rule book. And you can grab that right now. It's half price for the first 30 days. It just went on sale earlier this week or late last week, so you have a couple weeks to pick it up at half price.
So if you've always been interested in checking it out and trying it out, this is the way to do it.
Oh yeah,
the next 30 days are hot.
And it's always easy to get into skirmish games. Skirmish games don't usually require the least amount of models. So you can enjoy the setting, enjoy the rules, and build from there, go up. It's always the easiest way in. It's not required though. If you happen to have the old rule book, you can still play because they're going to have the errata and they're still going to have, the other stuff that helps tell you how to play with the new stuff. But this is a nice all-in-one, putting everything together. It's always great to have when they update your rule books with your errata. 2.5 years. Yeah, it's about time. I'm glad they're not going to a new edition. Again, not a Games Workshop fan in that regard. Where it comes to, oh yeah, every couple of years, let's just make a new edition where we make everything obsolete. No, this is much better, much nicer. And then to go along with this, because of the last year, they've also developed a solo play scenario for Kings of War Vanguard, where you take your warband and go kill goblins. The scenario includes simple AI rules for deciding how the goblins will behave. And the one thing that it doesn't include is the goblin army itself. You will need to have goblins on hand, but come on. Everyone's got goblins laying around, don't you?
And if you don't, you need more anyway. Buy them.
Yeah.
Goblins are awesome. Get more goblins.
Goblins are everywhere. Goblins, it doesn't matter what game you're playing. Malifaux's got goblins. Kings of War's got goblins. D&D's got goblins. Everyone's got goblins.
Did you ever notice that goblins, when you leave goblin miniatures in a box, there's more of them there the next time you look in the box?
Yes.
It's kind of creepy.
I've got a box of Nightbringers. What is the
Night Goblins?
Night Goblins. I've got a box of Night Goblins in my closet that I'm really afraid to open because I don't know how many might be in there now.
Next up, this is the thing that I was looking at this when you brought this in, and I was like, oh my gosh, I want to play Legion now. Star Wars Legion's new vehicles. Talk me through both of these amazing pieces, and also don't forget to mention the variations, especially on the what is it, the patrol transport that flies?
Yeah,
there's some really cool stuff with that one.
Yeah, so 2 new vehicle transports. One is for the Empire/Republic, and this is where he is talking about you can actually put pilots in appropriate to the faction that you're playing. It comes with both clone trooper armor and TIE fighter armor, depending on if you're playing Republic or Empire, and then also a new Rebel faction transport. They're both actually really big. It looks to be, I don't know, 8 inches maybe, 6 to 8 inches.
Well, they're big enough to house the figures inside, plus room for how many troops inside? I mean, a squad, essentially?
Yeah, probably.
So, and they also have some heavy firepower on them too. I mean, you've got laser cannons, you've got all sorts of other things on them. I mean...
Yeah, and then the other thing that really made me go, oh, that's pretty cool. They actually have open interiors. The doors, that back hatch on the LAATLE patrol transport opens up, and the side doors of the AA5 speeder truck open and reveal actually a cargo bay or infantry bay, and you can model if you so desire. It looks like the speeder truck actually has steps that you can maybe include on it. The doors themselves can be, I think the patrol transport's door like swings down or something. But yeah, they're really cool just in form of being models, not just things to play on the table. And then talking about their play, one, you've got transports. Transports in army games are always important. Getting your troops to the right place in a quick amount of time, protected safely, always key. But in addition to that, with the new field commander upgrade options that you can include with Commander Fox and another guy that's he's from one of the shows for
help him out, folks,
for the speeder truck. Anyways, you can put these commanders onto these trucks and turn these into highly mobile command centers. Also, the weapons on them aren't shabby. Like they have interesting combat capabilities, and that's always going to be a very sturdy and solid combination.
Yeah, and not only that, but I just like how the speeder truck looks like a futuristic version of the urban assault vehicle from Stripes.
It does, doesn't it? Oh my God!
I'm wondering how much they did that on purpose versus an accident.
One, it's a speeder truck.
Yeah.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
So not a speeder,
Mm-hmm.
Because you have speeder bikes, you have
Mm-hmm.
speeders. Now you have the speeder truck.
It's dependable. It's dependable. It's more like the speeder SUV, but it works. It works. Um, are you a big Legion guy right now? Would you do this for your if you did the LAAT LE patrol transport? Would you do it with the clones or with the stormtroopers?
I would always play Republic over Empire. I'm sure Empire's fine. They're not who I would like to play. So I play I play Republic or Rebellion or I probably wouldn't play Smuggler. I'm also again I don't always play for what's the best. I play for what's in my heart.
I love that you put your heart into your games, Jeff. That's awesome. All right, guys. So breaking up some other things here and breaking it off from Star Wars and going to something even bigger because we have a huge extravaganza today. The Luminath Realm Lords pre-orders are now available. Hang on, I'm going to drop. We got plenty of stuff to drop into chat today in terms of stuff about this. An enormous waves of reinforcements for the Lumineth Realm Lords is up for pre-order at this very moment, including an updated battle tome, Broken Realms, tech lists, and a whole host of new miniatures. Now, for the new Lumineth content, you either need the old Lumineth Realm Lords battle tome and a copy of Broken Realms tech lists, or you can just get the new battle tome Lumineth Realm Lords. So if you're just starting out, it may be perfect to just do that as well. Or maybe you want to have that handy reference all in one book. This is the way to do it. So from here, it's a pretty good book to get a hold of, but just you wait, hold on, there's more. The new Lumineth Realm Lords models are marching in. Lots of scale here for your armies. Besides new hero and mages and battle line and cavalry, you can look at all these gorgeous miniatures and just be spoiled for choice, but not pictured are the massive bannermen and artillery support. The one thing that I brought up when we were talking about this pre-show was they've taken a very high elf thing and changed it completely from the original high elves. Now I was a high elf army guy, and when I say high elf army, I had a complete White Lions force of several different groups of 50 spearmen, several groups of 50 spearmen. I had several groups of like 20 to 30 archers and entire stacks and racks of White Lions and White Lions chariots and all that stuff. And this does not look like the high elves that I played and love. This is high elves with a very Chinese feel kind of grafted onto them. I don't know that that's bad around, or good. It's just different.
Flying around on clouds, right? That's a normal high elf thing to do, right?
Sitting in there with the clouds and what looks to be a what is it, a bonsai tree of some sort. Even the creatures that they're on top of have a very Asian feel in their styling and how they lope along. And
it reminds the ones for the cavalry there at the top in the middle reminds me of from Princess Mononoke.
Oh yeah, is that the big style that you think it fits most?
No, that's what those creatures remind me of. I see more Chinese influences, but yeah, there is a whole lot of Asian, and it still screams a little bit to me of maybe some Native American influences with the bows and the antlers, but the Chinese influences are just so. You got war fans, and you've got like the sword, the bottom right with like the sword dancer and the falcon, the symbols on the war mage caster, the second from the left at the bottom. Like you're not too off. It does feel, and I feel in general it maybe a lot of this kind of is phoned in because it doesn't scream high elves. It screams something different.
Yeah. Yeah. I wonder, I mean, like they obviously had a goal here with this change. They wanted to make it very, very different. So kind of if you're still on the fence, like, is it really going kind of Chinese or not? Hold on. If the cloud in the bottom middle and some of the stylings on these miniatures don't do it for you, this certainly will. A new shrine for the Lumineth Realm Lords that is just massive. One of your heroes goes in the open space up in the middle of it just to show how big this is. You can see, take a look at there. As well as one of the plethora of new combat units from the Broken Realms Techless book. This one representing the Haishin stronghold of settlers gain with their 2 arcane war machines and war mages leading the way. So you see these other things here for the human realms. But at the end of the day, this stuff is definitely, I mean, even the elven runes have now taken on kind of a Chinese feel to it. It's interesting to see this Asian influence really pouring in to this. I do have some concerns about the sturdiness of this particular plastic piece, this floating thing, because that plastic looks awfully thin.
Well, it's using 3 points, right? So
yeah,
I
see it.
The 2 waterfalls and the column and the
yeah, but
it does look top heavy, doesn't it?
Yeah, and with a lot of experience on battlefield terrain, all it takes is you sweeping your arm just a little too hard and you snap something, and then your piece is not going to stand up very well.
Because look at where the center of balance of that thing is.
Yeah,
it's actually it's pretty high.
Mm-hmm.
Like it is not bottom heavy. It is top heavy.
Well, I'm assuming that the bottom is actually heavier. The bottom of top heavy. I think the middle point, you see where it's middle, where the actual character would stand on it. I think that's where the main weight of this particular model is.
Yeah.
But still,
and this is usually the point where I would loud about the merchandise clothing.
Mm-hmm.
I wasn't impressed. It looked phoned in. They basically just posted some pictures like in collage, like 4 pictures next to each other, but it wasn't funny. Like if you go back to the last couple that they've been doing, like they tried to do like a catchphrase. They tried to like meme it almost. These are just like art, and it's just like I'm left wanting, something catchy. It's not catchy. It's just pretty to look at. But if I wanted pretty to look at, I'd get posters, which I did post if you haven't checked the Magic the Gathering channel on our Discord, there is some amazing art coming out of Strixhaven. I will put that out.
All right. And then finally, this beautiful piece, the White Scars Primaris Intercessor action figure from Bandai. This guy's pretty big.
It's 8 inches. That's
it's an
huge.
8-inch tall. It's an 8-inch tall. It's an action figure. It's not a doll. It's an action figure. It's available with 50 points of articulation. It's fully functional. Decked out in the livery of the White Scars. It's available to order until 6 p.m. the 4th of April. So you only have a few days left to get this bad boy.
Yeah, this thing went on sale this weekend and is off sale next weekend. Like this is what they're calling their print on demand, or not print on demand, made on demand. Mm-hmm. And it's like a week. You have a week to get on board, and it says it will take up to 270 days to get to you.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. That's pretty intense. There probably is a print on demand component to this too. I wouldn't doubt.
Each one made individually by handcrafted, filing down.
Oh my goodness. And then painted? They come painted too. So somebody's going to paint these suckers. I'll bet you that's what probably takes the most time. Would
you call that painted?
Yeah, it's painted.
Yeah, but look at the chest. They could have done something with the skull, but it's just red.
Well, they did enough there that it's red, but you can see the white has gradient along the shoulder pads and everything else. That's just the White Scars way. Don't hate. Don't hate, man. Don't hate. It's just the White Scars way.
Yeah. I like the action poses that they put him into. I'm assuming that he's coming with all the bolters and combat knives, because why would they show it if not? But that's pretty cool, because I think that's a stalker bolt rifle. It's got the scope.
It's definitely cool. I'm pretty sure there's all sorts of nifty accessories this comes with, just like any, it's like a Barbie doll, kind of, but with different accessories,
Accessories.
All right. And then to add to this, we've got even more. Whoops. Don't mean to go too far. The new Dogmata and the Word Bearers Legion Terminator Praetor. So basically, two people that will show up and give you pamphlets on your door before they kick it in.
Yep.
So something about candles on armor this week. New models for the Adeptus Sororitas from Games Workshop and a new model from Forge World. Reach out to join the Word Bearers Legion. I'm sorry, would you like to hear a message from our Lord and Savior, Lorgar? The Dogmata is likened to a chaplain in the Space Marines, but for Sisters of Battle. In addition to leading her sisters in hymns of battle, she holds the power to condemn any sister to join the Repentia, or worse still, be consigned to a mortifier to seek atonement or redemption only in death.
Have you seen the model for the mortifier?
Oh, yeah.
That thing's awesome.
Yeah, it's a big boy. And then the Word Bearers Legion Terminator Praetor is bringing the fire and flame as he preaches the word of Lorgar. It brings new meaning to, brimstone and damnation. Seeking to bring enlightenment to any who stand against him, he joins a growing roster of Word Bearers Legion units to help round out a force. Do you see the gun system that guy's carrying?
Yeah, well, he's 30K, so he does have the older stuff.
Yeah, but look at it. It's got a multi-melta and a drum-fed bolt gun.
Yeah, so combi weapon.
Yeah, and on top of that, he's got whatever the hell that thing is he's carrying that looks like it hurts a lot. So,
probably some type of fire Crosium Arcanus type mace.
Absolutely. It looks painful. I wouldn't want to be hit by that.
Yeah, I find it interesting that so I did a little bit of digging in so the Word Bearers the base colors were gray.
Uh-huh.
And then it was the Gal Warbeck chapter that wore the red. So maybe this guy's supposed to be part of that chapter.
I don't know. This is going to be exciting to find out.
I like the Dogmata, though, particularly because Sisters got a lot of really cool stuff. And I think they just got a new book. Or it's not a new book, but they got like something to update them. Mm-hmm. And they're actually pretty powerful, and giving them even more combat tricks is crazy.
I think it's a good idea. I think they've needed to be more fully fleshed out as an army anyway. They've been lacking some of these more characterful sections that the Space Marines have. So it just made sense to see them in there.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. And putting someone that's canonically the one that is sending them off to the Repentia or putting them in the Tormentor, the Mortifiers, to seek their atonement is, I definitely, Forge World's great and all, and I'm sure that model does look crazy. Like, look at the little details in its armor. But I want her to hit me really, really hard.
The Dogmata. Okay. All right, now we're going to change over to something a little more Jeff's piece of bailiwick here. The WizKids Jinja board game. Tell us all about this.
So, a new game from WizKids. Love it because I'm a big fan of worker placement, and they've announced the upcoming release of Jinja, colorful worker placement game about building shrines across Japan. Players must place workers at key locations around the country to activate one of 13 different actions or build at one of 7 different territories. It features a high level of replayability because there's various goals, events, combinations, secret goals, tons of different options. Gameplay is about 60 minutes. It plays 2 to 5 players automatically. You play 5 players. I think that's the sweet spot. And it's scheduled to release next month here and coming up in April. So a pretty good pickup. It doesn't look too complicated. So it's one of those type of games that you could teach pretty easily to your less astute or less experienced I should say, less experienced friends. Just try to, get them in the door. Always a good place.
Yeah, and it does have some theme, and it fits the theme well. I think you can see it in the artwork, you can see it in the style of the game, and just the concepts that they're doing with it. So
Yeah, and, yeah, uh, it is. It's so many new things.
all right, and now on to our Kickstarter roundup.
Yeah,
Oh, this one is the best one I've seen in a long time. Remarkable cults and their followers. So, Jeff, you dropped this in at the last minute. You want to give us a handle on this one?
So yeah, and by last minute, I think it probably popped up shortly after our show 2 weeks ago, and I normally would have probably picked it up last week if I'd been here. But so this is one that if you're interested in it, you need to go jump on it right now. We're under 40 hours remaining on that Kickstarter. It's planned on ending Thursday morning, our time. It is the third entry from Lore Smith. The other two being Remarkable Inns and Remarkable Shops. This is now Remarkable Cults. And it's an ultimate game master's guide for role-playing dark cults, factions, and their leaders in a 5e setting. Always important, the very common enemy, the cult. Some GMs may not just have enough background to flesh out multiple cults if you face them. So if there's more than one in a campaign, this is a great add-on to your repertoire. It comes with built-in 8 different cults that you can pull from, as well as rules to help create your own custom cult, as well as other sections in the book. Really great options and play styles that will spice up just about any campaign. And of course, it looks great. It's gotten a lot of interest. It's well funded. It's just an awesome little pickup.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And the artwork is definitely killer as well. And they've already done 2 other products. This is going to be a great one to see. I'm looking forward to this. I
Yep.
am. All right. And next up, Inferno, Dante's Guide to Hell for 5e.
Yep.
Walk us through this 5e gorgeous piece right here.
All right. So coming from the cults before, now we travel into the hell of Dante's Inferno, and it's 5e compatible campaign setting. This is a full campaign setting. This is the 2021 is the 700th anniversary of Dante's death. So the actual author, his death was in 1321. And so Acheron Books is seeking to adapt the Divine Comedy, his work, into a 5e setting. An epic long setting. It comes in actually 3 books, but it's really only the first 2 that you need. The third book comes in a higher pledge. The first 2 is the red and the blue books. They have much more fancier names. I'm just going to call them red and blue. Mm-hmm. And the red one focuses on character creation and setting rules. It's meant to help the player understand the setting and the world that they are in, the rules that govern that setting. The blue book is the Game Master's Guide, as well as a monster's manual. You can see one of the monsters there in the bottom right-hand corner. It has adventures, perils, game hooks, and a whole campaign's worth, actually. The red and the blue are the base game. They make up the lower backer options. The third book that we were talking about is the black book, and it contains basically art, and it also has the whole epic poem itself, both in the original, I think Italian or I think it was Latin maybe, mm-hmm. and then an English translation by Henry Wadsworth Longfellow. The top right-hand corner shows all the unlocks for the stretch goals. So those will also be included if you get the base game, or the appropriate Kickstarted level, which includes a lot of little cool stuff. More beasts, some tokens, some player cards, and so on and so forth.
This is going to be a new a completely new world, a completely new concept in terms of 5e play. I am curious how they're going to, build the mechanics and make it work. And I'm excited to see it come out.
Yeah,
I don't know.
all
And then
nine,
the black book is the one that has me most excited, but I'm an art guy. So
all 9 levels. That's a lot of content.
yeah.
And it sounds like they're going to have rules for all 9 levels.
Like unique setting based rules for each of those levels, or what are we talking about?
Yeah, that's at least unique monsters and unique some type of setting for each one, which is pretty cool. Now, how's the story? Do you just follow Dante's journey down, and it's the same type of thing, or is it a little bit more freewheeling? Hopefully, it's a little bit more freewheeling. It's not too on the rails. But how do you get? Yeah, because one of the interesting things is how do you get from one level to the next in this game?
You basically start in hell, though, right?
The first level is probably or it's a dimensional portal.
Okay.
Because you could just look at this as a whole new plane. I mean, D&D has multiple levels to its hells, or it did at one time, so it's pretty similar in that regards. Am I thinking of Diablo? I'm thinking of Diablo, aren't I?
I think so.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking of.
So I think this is a good part to take a quick, short 3-minute break. And when we come back, we're going to talk about the conventions coming up really quick and go from there. So we'll see you guys in just a few minutes. So let's go to break, guys. And we're back. Hey guys, we're talking about conventions now. Thanks for hanging out with us just briefly and bearing with us as we had to get some stuff adjusted slightly. But we're going to be talking about conventions now. So there's some real concern about conventions, obviously, with the current state of things. But we've got some interesting news. PaizoCon Online 2021. This is interesting because it's online. Talk us through it, Jeff.
So you're seeing that a lot. A lot of the early ones, the spring and the early summer conventions, have either canceled, gone fully online, or transitioned it later into all the way to the fall. So this is PaizoCon. They've decided to go with the online setting, but they're going online for both spring and summer with two different events. First is the U.S.-based one, PaizoCon Online 2021, scheduled for May 28th through the 31st. Registration is currently open. Game signups for players open this Thursday, April 1st. Yesterday, Monday, Paizo was supposed to update their website with this year's information, which included their Twitch streaming schedule. So all that information is there if you're interested in playing Pathfinder, Starfinder, or anything else in that genre through PaizoCon Online. Great opportunity. I love conventions. Just the opportunity to get with other people, play games with multiple people, play multiple characters. Just wonderful experiences around the.
They did a great job with the Paizo online play at Reaper Virtual Con this year.
Right.
I have a feeling they're taking a lot of lessons learned from that and,
definitely
enhancing the experience. And not only that, but because of the Paizo online in May and the Paizo online for Europe, for the US and Europe, you can actually attend both of these. There's no reason you couldn't go to Europe. I mean, you got to get up early in the morning to do the online one in Europe.
Or do you?
Well, I mean, yeah, you do.
Well, no, because so on the docket from Paizo, like Reed's talking about, PaizoCon Online for Europe 2021, it's going to run 19th through the 22nd of August. So
you still got to get up early because the Europeans are, between 4 and 6 hours ahead of us, depending on what time zone they're in.
Yes, and while most of the games will be slotted in those time zones, they are planning to feature an overnight block of games across the weekend for those European night owls, because there of course are European night owls, because there's American night owls that play at all hours of our conventions here in the US, but they're also aiming them for America's based gamers as well to participate. So you have another opportunity to participate in a PaizoCon. There's actually going to be a third one, but we don't really have a lot of details for the third one. It's going to be the South Asia one in Australia, and some of that should
be hot. I look forward to that.
That's like September, November. I think November was the dates that they're throwing around, but they don't really have much detail there. So I didn't want to include those. But definitely some great, and PaizoCon's great and all. And we were talking about how some conventions, especially the ones in the earlier spring, push themselves back. Specifically, one of the near ones to me is Origins. Origins is already pushed back. They have not canceled. They've not gone online. They've rescheduled to September or to
Gen Con.
Well, then there's Gen Con. So Gen Con is normally either the last weekend in July or the first weekend in August. I've seen it go all the way to like middle of August, but it's usually the first weekend in August. They have made the decision last week to push it to September, specifically September 16th through the 19th. So we are 171 days to Gen Con. Though restrictions may apply, they are doing it slightly different. They're going to have the hybrid format with several concurrent in-person and online experiences. In-person will include Gen Con in Indianapolis, so normal Gen Con, but it's going to have a capped attendance as well as a modified format. We'll get to those shortly. From home, you can play in Gen Con Online, where you can do events and live streaming through probably a Discord-like feature.
They're going to be running a Discord. There's no doubt that Gen Con's going to be running a Discord.
Yes. The last is kind of a surprise. It's called Pop-Up Gen Con, and it's going to be your local game store. Now, Reed, being the more experienced local game store owner, will probably tell you that it's probably only going to be your more heavy hitters, right?
Larger shops are probably going to be the best bet for this. I mean, any shop can try and do a great job, I'm sure, but the bigger ones are the ones that can actually create social distancing opportunities.
Now, what's going to be interesting is how Gen Con's going to support all of these concurrently, especially the pop-up one. Like,
Mm-hmm.
if they really make it worth the while, we might see the smaller game store jump on just because Gen Con's making it worth it, right? It's cheap
Mm-hmm.
enough or something. They put enough incentive to really pull in those stores. The final, and then we are going to go back to the capped attendance and the modified format. Specifically, what that means is, so the capped attendance is exactly that. There is going to be a cap on the attendance. Now, here's the kicker. Well, you ask yourself, well, how do we know what the capped attendance for September should be? I can tell you right now because I'm from Indiana and I've got family still in Indiana. Indiana is already at, if you are 30 years old or older, medical conditions or not, you can go get the vaccine right now. 30 years or older, period. No questions asked. And it's only going to get more. And we're only in we're not even in April yet. And
Yeah.
they're already that far in.
Mm-hmm.
So Indiana is probably going to be 90% or more, available.
I don't want to make any conjecture onto what the
I'm
virus is
I'm
going to be or
saying
not be, because
no,
I think there's
hang
still a lot
on,
of things going on with that.
time out.
Okay.
What I'm saying isn't that 90% of people will have the vaccine or any of that. I'm saying that the available population of Indiana will have the opportunity. Like, it's going to be available to most people. If they go and get it, that's their own prerogative. Now, so what's that mean? What a lot of us that are avid Gen Con goers is that we're seeing May as probably the deadline for when they're going to make a call on what the initial minimum, the cap is going to be. And then as we get closer to September, that cap's going to grow appropriately, given how the virus is going in the country, how it's going, how vaccinations are going, all those factors are going to go into what their final numbers are when they make a call in August or early September. Now, what's that mean? So if you had tickets to Gen Con, because you could buy your tickets to Gen Con in January of 2020, I bought my tickets to Gen Con in January of 2020. They deferred those tickets to this year. What they have already sent out or they're about to send out is they're going to ask do you want to defer your tickets again to 2022, or do you want to be, in the list for 2021? So first come is going to be those that deferred their tickets. So if you did not buy your tickets prior to March, when they canceled Gen Con and stopped ticket sales, if you did not buy your tickets by that point, you're kind of SOL until the cap goes past.
Until they basically have availability that doesn't go past the cap.
Yeah.
So if they find out they have room, then you can potentially buy tickets. Yeah.
Which is why I'm sure that they're doing both the online and the pop-up options, is that they really understand. Because typically Gen Con in 2019 saw 66,000, 67,000 people. So, there's interest in Gen Con. Go figure.
Right.
And then the last thing, the modified format, that's going to be social distancing. That's going to be wiping everything down, disinfecting. There may even be a vaccine proof of vaccination requirement. I don't know if they'll go with that one, but it was in the survey. So,
I mean, there's a whole bunch of things about what's going on with what it's effective against versus what it's not as well. So there's some new strains out that it may not even work against. So I have real concerns with anything that they're putting together right now. I think it's still too soon, but you guys are all smart people out there. You make the decision that's best for you, obviously. And, I know that we are all desperate for some good conventional fun. So definitely choose the option that works for you. And I'm glad that they're giving options out there for the people who want them. So nice to have that.
Yeah.
All right. So next up, we are sponsored by our great group, Overhead Games. Overhead Games is sponsoring us. And not only that, they're sponsoring the prize for tonight's show. Many of you guys, I think Wizard of DC was mentioning he was one of the winners a week or so ago. But if you type in !epic in Twitch chat, you can enter to win an epic character generator package with the fantasy starter bundle and 3 extra packs of character options available built in. So the raffle should be coming here right about now. Let's see where we're at here. Okay, we got a couple people here. Let's see what it wants to do here. Entries are now closed. And hold on one second here. And now let's see who the winner is. The winner is George from New York. George from New York.
Congratulations.
Congratulations, George from New York in the chat. You have won an epic character generator from overheadgames.com. So definitely check that out when you get a chance. So excited to see everybody getting a chance to win. Let me make sure I get some information here. Okay. And someone will reach out to George from New York on Twitch and let him know that he's the winner. So expect one of the tech goblins to reach out and say hello at some point. So congratulations. Dude, tell what do you think's going on this week on the Velkin Weave? Let's close out with some Velkin Weave discussions.
All right,
that's coming out tomorrow, man.
So the Velkin Weave have stepped foot into the Fane of Tiamat at level 9.
How's that gonna go for you? You think?
I don't think it's gonna go very well. I think it's gonna be very dangerous, and I think there will be, possibly, maybe not more player death, but it's entirely possible. What with already us turning upon each other just by the sheer already failing our will saves and being charmed by the enemy. And we're in the first room, and that's already happening. So it can only get more exciting from here, right? It's either going to be we're going to get swacked pretty hard to the point where we can't move forward and that we're going to have to withdraw. Or this is going to be a longer event, and it's going to be a proper dungeon crawl where we crawl through the dungeon.
I can't begin to explain the size and scope of what you're about to do at level 9. So you're about to go into the heart of what appears to be something where Tiamat herself could appear and do a bunch of stuff, and that's at level 9. So
yeah,
all of you, and you've already lost a party member, and you actually came back as a different with a new character.
Yep.
What's the name of your new favorite character here that you're playing?
Oh God, why am I so bad at this stuff? I'm so terrible at names. Hang on, I've got. Nope, that's my other character. That's a different character. Nope, that's his backstory. Wow, I didn't.
Rangrim is his name.
I didn't put his name on his backstory.
That
tells you where my brain is when I do this. Rangrim, yes, Rangrim Runehammer. He does have a last name. Yeah, he's definitely an interesting guy. I've based it a lot on the adventuring archaeologist, if you will. Some inspiration was taken from Mr. Jones, Dr. Jones, if you will. Yeah, he's definitely. I've still got to do some more fleshing out because, like I said, I kind of whipped this up, and then my mother came to town, so I really haven't had time to fully flesh it out. But
don't worry, for anybody who wants to, if you refresh your screen, we just reactivated the extension, so you have the D&D Beyond extension now active on your screens. If you want to take a look there, you can see Rangrim's stats there as one of the characters on the show. So
Yeah,
it should be pretty interesting there.
I need to remove that ring because it's not supposed to be visible, which is a big oversight for D&D Beyond, where other players can see your ring of mind shielding that's supposed to be hidden from them.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And he's got a big hammer. More importantly, a big hammer.
He does have a big hammer. Don't look at it. Yes, it says slashing. Well, no, it doesn't actually say. But don't worry about it. It's a hammer, not a sword.
Mm-hmm.
It's totally a hammer. I love that name, Drakentoten. German for dragon slaying. It's great.
All right. Well, hey guys, be sure to tune in to the Velkin Weave, 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, 4 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, and it will be a really exciting episode to say the least. We'll be back next week with who are we interviewing next week? Hang on, I'll tell you who we're interviewing. We're interviewing Mark from Ice Cream Dice next week.
Oh,
yeah.
Right.
Yeah, he's a great Canadian guy from what we understand. So he'll be on.
Oh.
So yeah. And then a whole bunch of other cool stuff to come on as well. So we're very excited about all of it. And guys, we'll see you guys next week. And thank you so much for coming out and checking us out. See you next week.
Bye, everyone.
Oh, we're going to go on a raid right after this. So make sure you hang out. We'll be raiding.
Raid. Shadow Legends. Wait,
yeah.
Nope. Wrong game.